This video will describe what ArcGIS Collector is and how to use it. Collector is an app that allows you to collect GIS data in the field. We will, when I describe how to use it, we'll focus on using it to collect point data. Assuming that, like most people, you have a smartphone with GPS capability, there are, of course, all kinds of apps out there that would allow you to collect GIS data. The most obvious advantage of using Collector is that it is designed by ESRI to work well with ESRI's other desktop and cloud-based GIS software. And of course, besides capturing the point coordinates, Collector lets you enter attribute information about whatever you're interested in the field. So obviously there's any number of applications you could use this for, collecting information about trees in a park, about utilities. It's just a general GIS collection tool. So as an example of how we might use Collector, we'll do a case study of collecting data about monuments in Gettysburg National Military Park. The Collector app itself is pretty easy to use. Most of this video will be about the preparation you need to do before you actually use the app. So that includes stuff like defining your feature classes, which have fields for the data you're interested in collecting, and how to take these definitions and publish them as a feature service that can be used on ArcGIS Online. All right, I'm going to start up ArcMap, and the first thing we're going to need to think about is our geographic extent. This is easy to define if you've already got a shapefile for the area you're interested in, or you can just do it manually. And that's what I'm doing here, starting by adding a base map. Pulled up the draw tool, going to draw a rectangle. There it is. Hollowed it out. Going to convert it to a feature. I'm taking a quick detour to change the coordinate system of the data frame to State Plane, Pennsylvania South. Another quick detour to create my geodatabase so I have somewhere to save my new feature. All right, here we go. I've checked to use the same coordinate system as the data frame, and you'll notice I put in a name for my feature class, and I'm sticking it in the geodatabase I created. And now I'll fix the extent of my data frame to the feature class getExtent. I can't show you the whole process because my video is too long. I got around to saving my map. You'll notice it doesn't say untitled up there anymore. And now we'll get to the good stuff and create our feature class for monument data. Pull up our catalog. Go to the database, geodatabase we created, new feature class. Call it monuments. We'll just make it points. No M or Z values, we don't care about elevation. I navigated to Pennsylvania State Plane South. We just click next here and here as well. And we're finally here. This is where we have to think about or know what data we want to store for each monument. I think for flexibility, I'm going to keep it pretty generic, just do name, type, and description, except since we were asked, I will include also a field called condition, condition of the monument. I went ahead and added type while you weren't looking. I'm going to go ahead and put in some more fields now. I just wanted to see how it works. Name, description, and condition. I don't like thinking about upper versus lowercase unless I have to, so I'm just using all lowercase. And I will click finish. And you can see in the table of contents now, it did create our monuments feature class. Now let's create a domain to validate entries we make in our condition field for our feature class. I've actually closed and restarted ArcMap to do this because I'm getting errors to do with locks on my geodatabase. So I'm closed and reopened ArcMap, and I have not opened my map. And you can see it's just saying untitled up there. And hopefully that will allow me to get at the properties of my geodatabase without a problem. And here it is. So go into the Domains tab. I'm going to give the domain the same name as the field that it will be validating, condition. And I'm going to make it a text field. We want to allow for values excellent, good, fair, or poor. So I think I'll just do that as a coded field. Excellent, good, fair, poor. Put in descriptions while you weren't watching to save time. Don't want to run out of time on this video. Now let's apply the domain to our field. Go to our catalog, find our feature class, right click, properties, the fields tab, and here's the field that we want to apply the domain to. Click beside domain, drop down, and there's our domain named condition, same name as our field. Click OK. Going to reopen my map now to get to the symbology for our feature, partly to confirm that the domain we created works like we expect. Symbology, categories, unique values. Try symbolizing on condition, for example. If we add all values, there we go. It added, even though we didn't actually put any entries in yet, it went ahead and took the valid values from the domain. We want to share our feature class as a service. To do this, you need to be logged in, which I have already done. Publish the service. My hosted services, in our case at Harrisburg Area Community College. Service name, Gettymon. Based on the assignment spec, I'm actually going to change the service name to what was asked for, which is monuments followed by my last name. We go to the Capabilities tab, and feature access is checked, which is what we want. When we go to feature access on the left pane there, and we want to allow creation and deletion and sync and update as well. Go to item description in the left pane, summary. I went ahead and filled in summary and tags as required. Now on the left pane, we click sharing. I'll share with the class I'm doing this for. You'll notice I've removed my base map. When I tried running the analysis before, it gave me an error message. I guess it was trying to share the base map as part of the service or something. And now I'll go ahead and click publish, and I understand there may be a long wait, so I will pause the video. That wasn't so painful, only took around a minute. So the next step will be to get on ArcGIS Online and look for our feature service. So I've logged into ArcGIS Online and went to the content tab. My content I filtered out just to show the layers, and here we are. And these two entries correspond to the feature service that we created. A service definition entry and the actual feature layer. So we go ahead and click on the feature layer, and monuments, which is the feature collection that we're actually going to enter data in using Collector. We want to enable attachments to allow us to, if we wanted to take a picture or something and attach it. And now we just want to open our feature service in a new map. And the feature class that we use to define the extent of our data frame comes in handy now. We can just zoom to that. There we are. And now we can save our map. And we'll give it the same, we'll just give it the same name as our feature service. And I typed in the other required stuff. There we go, saving map. And finally, the last piece to make this work with Collector is to share map. We'll go ahead and do that. And scroll down and click done. Okay, I'm going to show you Collector now. I'm using the beta version because I was having some problems with the production version. Okay, so here is the choice of maps. I'm going to try opening mine. There's usually a slight delay. There we go. It asks me to turn on my phone's GPS, and I'm not going to. The reason I'm not going to is because I'm in my kitchen. I'm not in Gettysburg Park. And by leaving the GPS off, that will allow me to just put a point wherever I want. But the workflow is similar if you have your GPS on. You would just be using that button to, center things where you actually are. Okay, so say I want to put a point here. And there, I hit the plus. And I can move things to exactly where it is. And then I enter in the type of monument. So say it's a monument to an individual. And I'm just going to get this done and just put in, you can understand, you would put in something meaningful, not just a couple of letters. And condition, here we choose good. And lastly, we could take a photo. And in this case, since I'm in the kitchen, the evidence will be clear that I was never in the park. And we put on a check mark. There you have it.